Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar. We'll have a look at the weather warnings. We now have rain warnings issued for Tuesday and Wednesday, as we are going to see some very heavy rain move in from the west. As we'll see from the latest UKV, the next week or so is going to be exceptionally unsettled, with lots of low pressure coming in off the Atlantic, all powered by ex-tropical systems and ex-hurricanes throwing their energy towards the UK. Now, as I said, it will mean it will be very rainy, lots of patches of sustained periods of rainfall, and also heavy showers and perhaps even a few thunderstorms are possible as well. And it's also going to be pretty windy as well, something we haven't seen for a few weeks. It's been fairly settled in terms of winds, but the winds are going to pick up over the next few days, and it is going to be very, very unsettled. However, we've got, as I'm recording this, 12 days left of September, and that 12 days is going to be split into two halves. The next 6 or 7, we see very unsettled conditions to about Sunday, maybe next Monday. But beyond that, it's looking pretty encouraging that high pressure is going to build in, as we see in the longer range, and it could bring a return to more settled and warmer conditions. Again, it's very difficult to see anything ridiculously warm as we are heading towards the end of September, but you could even rule out maybe a 24 or 25 degree from the look of some of the latest runs. So we'll have a look at that in detail in the second half of the video. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe. And remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. Now, if you start on the live radar, you can see we've got lots of showers coming in off the west at the moment. The wind direction has changed. Now, last night we saw those really severe thunderstorms in many southern and eastern areas, and even spread up into the northeast and East Midlands through parts of the early morning. Now, luckily, these storms moved through very quickly. They were pretty fast, so it didn't mean that, areas didn't see much more than maybe 40 or 50 millimetres, which is still a lot. But if these storms were slower, more stationary, then you could be looking at 100 millimetres, 200 millimetres with these sort of rainfall rates. So luckily they did move through quite quickly, but quite a few areas saw some really violent conditions last night. Frequent lightning, gusty winds, hail in places, and for those who got their cameras out, we've probably seen a lot of lightning, some very cool cloudscapes when those lightnings did come. So it was some real severe thunderstorms. Again, not knowing too much about it because it did fall overnight. They did really pick up around the 11 p.m. point, peaking around midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. sort of time. So luckily overnight, but it was pretty severe, and you can see the remnants of those storms now across parts of Scandinavia, where it's turning into a large area of low pressure. We've seen a cold front sweep through today as well, sort of combined with the remnants of those storms, and behind that we're all into fresher air, but as I said, showery westerly outlook. The temperatures, as of around 5:30, are not particularly great. The last few days we've had a lot of oranges around that are now retreated all the way into parts of Central and Southern Europe. Instead, we're replaced by some yellow and lighter blues in the north, and west temperatures into the low teens for some today, as proper autumnal conditions do arrive. But as I said, the westerly winds are going to be really powering up imminently, and it's going to be causing a lot of rainfall to come in off the Atlantic. And we've got these two rain warnings issued 6 a.m. until 6 p.m. So 6 a.m. tomorrow morning, Tuesday, issued until Wednesday at 6 p.m. So a 36-hour warning. And you can see outbreaks of heavy rain will affect parts of the UK on Tuesday and Wednesday. The heaviest and most persistent rainfall during this period is expected to affect high ground of northwest England, northwest Wales, and South Wales. So, of course, of this 36-hour period, we could see 50 to 100 millimetres widely, maybe 150 millimetres to 200 in a few spots. High likelihood, lower end of the impact matrix. Luckily, the ground isn't too saturated at the moment, or if this had fallen in a winter period or early spring period, then I wouldn't be surprised to see an amber warning issued for this event. But ground is fairly dry after the last couple of weeks, where we've had quite a lot of hot weather, so it shouldn't cause too many issues, but there probably will be some surface water flooding, and rivers, streams will be much higher than usual, especially in these areas. Elsewhere, though, we will still continue to see some very heavy rain, and we'll look at the latest UKV, and you can see the remnants of the thunderstorms early this morning, around 4 a.m, exiting out of northeast England, and you can see the cold front slowly sweeping through this morning, giving some more heavy showers and a few thundery showers, but mostly rain showers in eastern areas. Through the rest of this afternoon, we've seen lots of showers moving in from the west. Again, mostly light to moderate in intensity, but a few heavier ones within it. Pretty typical for a westerly flow. As we head into tomorrow, we can start to see the persistent rain arrive. So for sunrise tomorrow, persistent rain, mostly moderate in intensity, with a few heavier pulses over the higher ground where those yellow warnings are. And we're just going to see that rainfall continue to come in from the west. Eventually through Tuesday afternoon, a brief respite in southern and east areas for another batch of very heavy rainfall moves in for Wednesday. And it does move through very slowly through much of England and Wales. And we could see even a bit of a line convection developing along that, which could really pep up those rainfall rates. And it's likely to impact parts of the south and the east as we head into rush hour. Could be really heavy pulses of rain there. Not as organised as I've seen from the UKV before. We've seen more organised line convection, but still intense and could cause issues. That rainfall really slowly clears through Wednesday night into Thursday morning, as it does see some reinforcements of rain in from the southeast. So it should clear for Thursday morning, but still will be a lot of rainfall there over that sort of 12 to 24 hour period. Into Thursday, no persistent rain around, but lots of showers. You can see very frequent as well, and heavy within it. And then finally, as we hit into Friday, more showers. Again, nothing as persistent, but still you'll be lucky to avoid a shower through much of Friday. And then again, out to the west as we head into early hours of Saturday, another thick band of cloud. Again, another area of low pressure and more weather fronts moving in. Now, if you look at the max temperatures, you can see today maybe a 19 or 20 degree in the southeast, but most areas mid to low teens, much fresher Atlantic air. Into Tuesday, temperatures maybe get as high as 18 or 19, with less in the way of persistent rain like we've seen today. In those southern areas, it could be better, but look at Scotland, 7, 8, 9 degrees over some of the higher ground. As we head into Wednesday, temperatures, again, maybe a 21 or 22 in the southeast when we're ahead of the rainfall, but under that rain, mid-teens at best. And then into Thursday, again, 17, 18 in the east, but widely mid-teens to low teens elsewhere. And into Friday, maybe again 17, 18 degrees elsewhere, mid to low teens. So you can definitely see there's a bit of a step change this week. Good 5 degrees or so cooler than it's been recently. And again, it's to do with the weather pattern changing. We're going to more westerly flow than a southerly flow. But also, it is to do with the time of year. We are simply getting further into autumn, closer towards winter, so it's inevitably going to get cooler. If you now have a look at the longer range, you can see there is some hope. We could see something a bit warmer and drier to end September. Now, this is the latest GFS that's just coming out as I am recording this. And you can see at the moment, we've got low pressure moving in off the Atlantic. It's going to continue to give us very unsettled conditions over the next few days. That continues all the way to next Monday, but you can see this high pressure system building to our east and actually takes over and gives us very warm southerly winds to end September, for eventually into early October low pressure could make a bit of a return. You can see the upper air temperatures around the 10, maybe even 15 degree isotherm moving in there. Again, nothing ridiculous, but we're looking at, around the 6 to 8 degrees above average, so warm. I wouldn't say anything hot, but definitely warm. And if we put on the 2 meter temperatures, we would be looking at widely high teens, even into low 20s or even mid 20s here at the 3 p.m. interval in around 7-8 days' time. So definitely could see a bit of a warm up to end September. If you go to the GM now and see what that is producing, again, low pressure dominating over the next few days. Again, it's going to probably dominate all the way till Monday. Finally, high pressure builds in. Perhaps for the end of the weekend for the east and for all areas as we head into next working week, dominates. And look at that, sat right over the top of us. And it's actually got a fairly warm air mass trying to move up from the south. Again, the 15 degree isotherms within that uncertainty, how much of that will get over the UK. But again, it will be fairly warm, and if we look at the 2 meter temperatures, you see here more high teens to low 20s, and the air mass isn't quite as warm as the GFS was producing, but still we're seeing here 21 or maybe 22 degrees here come next Wednesday. So definitely looking like it could warm up, and not only get warmer, but could also get very dry to end September. If we finally look at the ECMWF, again, low pressure coming off the Atlantic over the next few days, really horrible unsettled conditions, and eventually into next week, high pressure builds in, very strong high pressure built in, and again, you can see a southeasterly flow here. So this would be very warm. Look at that 15-degree isotherms in. That would produce temperatures probably in excess of 25 degrees. Very warm indeed. And you see getting towards the 8 to 10 degrees above average. The 2-meter temperatures for this pattern would be very warm as well. Again, we can't quite have a look at the 3 p.m. times, but you see the midday temperatures around the 21 or 22 degree mark. And yeah, it would be very nice indeed there. Finish by looking at the ensembles. Again, you can see the latest GFS 6 o'clock run. You can see the next week, very up and down. Warmer sectors, cooler sectors with lots of rain. But as we head in beyond that, for the final sort of 5 days or so of September, looking much drier and temperatures well above average, so much warmer and drier to end September. Start of October, though, as we saw in the GFS operation run, could see low pressure returns. It might only be a brief period of drier, warm weather, but honestly, we're getting to the point now where we will hold on to anything that is remotely warm and dry as we do head inevitably into the latter parts of autumn and winter, where things are going to always be fairly chilly and fairly unsettled. 2-meter temperatures reflect this well, very up and down in the next week or so, but as we head into the next working week, that operation run getting up towards the 24 or 25 degree mark. The sea level pressure is also very high as well as we progress into the longer term, getting up towards 125 millibars or so, which again, not nothing ridiculous, but for this extended range, it is pretty decent. It's 25 plus millibars higher than we're looking from the latter parts of this working week. And finally, the ensembles from the ECMWF are very similar, very unsettled the next week. Lots of rainfall and up and down temperatures. Beyond that, into the last sort of 4 or 5 days of September, much warmer than average and very dry. So things are looking like we could see a big improvement as we head into the latter parts of September. But we've got to get through at least 5, 6, 7 days now of very unsettled, very horrible conditions. So I always have to remember that. Yes, it does look warmer and drier in the longer term, but we are looking sort of day 6, day 7 beyond. We're not looking at the next 5 days. The next 5 days looks pretty abysmal. Looks pretty much a washout in some areas and looks pretty cold as well. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you have enjoyed. Hope this week isn't too bad when it comes to the weather, and hopefully this warmer and dry spell does come off, as it is looking pretty likely at this stage, but things still could change. So we'll just have to see, but definitely fingers crossed we do see perhaps a last little burst of late summer warmth to end September.